In the United States, we don't hear much about the environmental impact of cocaine. We are far more likely to hear about cocaine's human impact, its negative effect on health and the lives of users. But the truth is that the cocaine industry is wreaking havoc on the environment. Every year, an estimated 80 million people purchase cocaine, which means that the damage caused by the cultivation, trade, and consumption of this drug is enormous. Welcome back to Planet Proof. This channel is dedicated to researching and evaluating businesses, brands, and products. If you're new to our channel, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel to show your support and help us propagate crucial public awareness. Cocaine is, after cannabis, the second most widely consumed drug in Europe. It's estimated that 1.4% of European adults have used cocaine in their lifetime, and a recent study found that consumption of both cocaine and cannabis among young Europeans has increased since 2008. In fact, 1.4% of European adults have used it at least once in their life, and that number jumps to 4.3% in England and Wales alone. Both France and the UK account for 80% of cocaine use in Europe, with France having an estimated 850,000 users. That's about 1.4% of its population. The Colombian president recently said that the consumption in Europe was at the highest level in the world in 2021. In addition to the damage that it does to users and their families, cocaine production also creates a mess on the environment. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that 1 hectare of coca plantation costs about 3 hectares of jungle, which means that every ton of cocaine brings about 1.5 tons of lost plant coverage. One Colombian study also found that a kilogram of coca production costs 20 gallons of diesel fuel and takes 25 to 30% more potable water than any other crops in Colombia. Diesel contains sulfur dioxide that releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere when burned. These gases trap heat on Earth and contribute to climate change, aka global warming. The high heat necessary for this step also damages surrounding jungle terrain. Coca farmers also burn wood, charcoal, or coal in order to produce lime to process their coca leaves into a paste that can then be turned into cocaine. The smoke from these fires contributes to air pollution locally and greenhouse gas emissions globally. A great deal of deforestation takes place in the manufacturing process of cocaine. Cocaine production requires the cultivation of coca plants, which are grown indoors and outdoors in tropical climates. To cultivate coca, farmers clear a large area of forest to create a plantation on which to grow the plants. This deforestation results in habitat loss for local wildlife and creates soil erosion that can lead to water pollution. If rain washes soil into a river system, it can deplete oxygen levels as well as clog fish gills and harm other aquatic life. Additionally, pesticides used in the cultivation of coca leaves can make their way into freshwater sources via drainage from plantations, poisoning animals and humans alike with toxins that can cause developmental disabilities, cancer, and other serious health concerns. The spraying of herbicides over coca crops in Colombia over a period of 21 years has turned 4.35 million acres as bare as the surface of the moon. That's an area the size of Connecticut plus much of Rhode Island. As a result, local farmers are displaced and forced to burn down more of the rainforest around them to grow food crops to survive, as well as coca crops to make money, because there is no way out. This is the only cash crop available to them. Aerial spraying of herbicides is only part of the problem. It makes a thoroughly bad situation worse. So when you buy cocaine, you're not just buying a drug. You're funding the destruction of rainforests and jungles all over the world. In fact, over the past 3 decades, cocaine has been responsible for around 15% of the global deforestation of South America. Losing forests in Central America doesn't just destabilize the region, it comes with worldwide consequences. Forests help capture and store planet-heating carbon dioxide. When they are destroyed by traffickers or by the businesses the traffickers launder their money through, they release that plant-heating gas into the atmosphere. The rainforest is home to many species of flora and fauna. Many of these species are in danger of becoming extinct, and cocaine is partially to blame for this. Right now, more than 20% of global carbon emissions are from deforestation alone, and American money is part of what's causing the problem. Once every part of the rainforest is gone, what will happen? How will we survive if we continue on this path? Ultimately, it is not just a matter of deforestation. Coca-producing areas are lands without laws, to which public officials have no access. The exploitation of forests is completely anarchistic. The few protected natural reserves that exist in that part of the world are at risk of extinction. Unfortunately, the environmental destruction caused by cocaine doesn't end there. The cartels who control the cocaine trade have a reputation for violence, and the bloodshed extends to the coca fields themselves. Transporting vast quantities of diesel fuel through jungle terrain increases the likelihood of bloodshed due to conflicts between armed groups fighting over control of drug-producing regions, or between drug gangs who may be attempting to hijack shipments or settle scores with competing cartels, some of which have been at war for decades. Gang members murder farmers and their families in order to steal their crops and extort money from them. Even if a farmer manages to avoid these pressures, he or she will still have to deal with a hostile environment. The climate is harsh, the work is grueling, and profits are slim at best. For many locals in this area of South America, growing coca plants is one of the few ways they can make enough money to survive. Despite all this evidence indicating that cocaine production causes major damage both locally and globally, it's impossible to get an accurate assessment of how much harm it truly does. As long as cocaine remains illegal, and there's no sign that international attitudes towards it will change anytime soon, it will remain difficult for scientists to study its damaging effects on people's lives and on the environment. We've been seeing more and more news about the environmental damage caused by cocaine production, and it's scary. It's not just that the industry is killing animals and plants. It's also causing massive environmental change by destroying forests and releasing dangerous chemicals into environments all over South America. So, how do we address cocaine's effect on the planet? Well, appeals from governments aren't the answer. In 2006, the UK government teamed up with Colombia to launch the Shared Responsibility campaign to curb casual cocaine use. And at the end of 2015, the National Crime Agency relaunched #EveryLineCounts to bring the anti-cocaine effort to social media. Neither worked, obviously. Unfortunately, a lot of the work fighting this problem is happening at a policy level in countries where cocaine is produced. But there are still things you can do. So what can we do about the environmental damage of cocaine production besides not using the stuff? You can get involved with local organizations that are working to fight cocaine production in your area. Some of them even help small farmers transition to other crops so they don't have to rely on growing coca plants for their income. Even if you don't live in an area where cocaine is grown, you can spread awareness about this issue by sharing articles and statistics with your friends and family members who might be interested in doing something about it. Well, that is all for today's video. We would love to hear from you. What do you think about the environmental damage of cocaine? Will you ever consume cocaine in your life? If you enjoyed this video, hit like and share this video with your friends to help spread awareness. Also, consider subscribing to our channel for more interesting videos every week. Until the next video, we wish you the best of health.